Hi, I'm John Dutton, and we're Spilled Ink, and I'm at Taggart's Mill celebrating I know it's we're still in the pandemic, but it just feels nice being somewhere normal. So it's nice to gather here once again, and we are Spilled Ink. I have started our writing folders or our writing notebooks for school, and I gave them the time was the October acrostic. So I said nightmare or Halloween, and some of them wanted to do pumpkin, and I said, you just go right ahead, and whatever you're doing to write, you go ahead and write. So this was nightmare. And I moved to Benton this year, and I'm teaching 7th grade language arts. So this was my inspiration for nightmare. Nasty thoughts creep in at night. I toss and turn, gasping for breath. Help is never near. The boogeyman lives under my bed. My mom doesn't believe me. An army of angels is what I need, ready to protect me from everything. Eek, what is that I hear? And that was nightmare. All right, then I did Halloween. Help, I see monsters everywhere. A ghost, a witch, a vampire, looking for me, looking at me. Oh no, I must hide. Where could I go? Every place I look is no good, even in the closet or under my bed. I'm never going outside ever again. And that was Halloween. Those were my 2 October acrostics for the kids. They did a good job. I love it when they share. They shared a couple today, so that was fun. All right, we're going to the sharp dressed man who knows how to tie a tie, Nick Hale. Take it away.
All right, probably everybody's heard this one before, but I love it so much that I felt like I was going to read it again. This is Confessions on a Couch. I'm not feeling like myself today. I'm not quite sure why, but does that mean that I'm feeling like myself, since no matter how I'm feeling, I'm still me, and so I'm still feeling like I'm me? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm rambling again, aren't I? I've been feeling under the weather lately, but wait, aren't we always under the weather? I mean, when it rains, it always rains over. Oh, never mind. It's not important. Sometimes when I get like this, I like to walk around retail stores where I've gotten bad service with a suit and a name tag and annoy the customers that stop to ask me stupid questions. Sometimes I record them on my phone. My ringtone for when my mother calls is an old lady's reaction when I answered her question, "Do you sell batteries?" by telling her that we do indeed sell batteries, just not to uppity crones like her. Want to hear it? Call me. Oh, never mind. I thought it was funny. It cheered me up for a whole weekend. Sometimes, when I feel like no one cares about me, like I'll never make new friends, sometimes when I want to feel like royalty, I'll walk around a car dealership pretending to be in the market for a used car. The salespeople are all so friendly and eager to chat and learn about me as they offer me to test drive a shiny Mercedes and free refreshments to boot. It's almost like making friends, calling me pal as I roll around in someone else's old caddy. One previous owner, little old lady, non-smoker, no cats, but quite in need of batteries. I'm rambling again. Where was I? Oh yeah, I'm not feeling that great. I've been having these dreams. I've been having the strangest dreams. I dreamt my wife was nagging me to change the light bulb, and there was a thumping pain in my head, and it was dark, so dark I couldn't see it. Wait, that actually happened. But I have the strangest dreams still. I dream about eating, and I'm chewing, and I'm chewing, and I can't make I'm chewing, and the food makes me thirsty, and I'm always so thirsty. And when I wake up, I'm unsatisfied with a dry mouth and a pool full of drool. My wife says I talk in my sleep. Is that normal? She says I chew in my sleep too and argue with myself. And sometimes I sing in my sleep. Is that normal? I don't know. I could sure use some help. But thanks for hearing me out. Oh no, I'm not actually going to buy anything today. This couch is just so comfortable.
Nick, I love that, man.
Thank you.
I love it.
It's hard to read on a tiny screen.
Oh, man. I'm hearing.
Nicely done.
Thanks, John.
Nicely done.
I'm going to do one more, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
This is I Want to Be the Guy. I want to sculpt a world from smoke, glorious billowing waste, multiplied by mirrors. I hope you choke, he wrote, engulfed in string-theorized worlds. He wrote, on a boat, with a goat. Not that guy. I want to write like wet paper mache that will never dry and stretched over a wire-frame middle finger, flipping off the marble sky, etched with clouds and waiting to fall to crush some hapless stranger. No, not that guy. I want to scream fire and pain, bigger, faster, hotter than a bus with no brakes. I want to play chicken with Armageddon and never win and never burn out cold between steel cylinders and lead. Not that guy. No, branded in history, kids choking on my ashes. I want to be the guy.
You are the guy, Hale. Yes.
Thank you.
The man, man.
You are the man. Yes. And I just want to tell everybody that is a real tie. That is not a clip on.
I've got a backup. This is the one I wore last time,
Whoa.
actually. This here.
We are all impressed, Nick Hale. We are. Sharp dressed man, and you are that guy. All right, we're going to Robert. Robert F., you are up.
Hi, I'm a writer from Lewis, Delaware. I'm going to continue with the Halloween theme. This first one is called Final Impulse. Don't go down the basement stairs. I can't resist. Don't go down the basement stairs. That's it for that one. The next one is a Halloween poem. It's called Pumpkin Have. Too long you have destemmed us. Too long you have stabbed us. Too long you have grinned us. Too long you have decapitated us. Too long you have deceived us. Too long you have unstrained us. Too long you have candled us. Too long you have pied us. Too long you have trucked us. Too long you have eaten us. No more you halved us. Next halved, poison pumpkin pie.
Nice, Rob. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The last one is a piece of word art. Could you let me share the screen? I want to show it. It's half words and half art. Thank you.
You got it, Robert?
Come in. Okay, here it is. So it's called Abbot and Costello Monster Rumors. So for some of you who might know that Abbot and Costello did several movies with the monster movies. And I wrote the lines like headlines that would be gossip lines. So for Frankenstein, Costello murders bride of Frankenstein. Frank and Costello married at Monster Chapel. Frank's pregnant Costello's father. Abbot tells Costello, it's me or Frank. Then these are the ones for Dracula. Who's in the casket? Abbot gave Dracula Hep B. Abbot has bad blood. Honeymoon casket plan. And then the mummy. Toilet paper prices skyrocket. Mummy toilet paper. Costello cheats on Frank with mummy. Costello, Frank, and mummy in divorce court. And then the werewolf. Werewolves on first. Costello is a werewolf. Werewolf opens Monster Lodge. Abbot and Costello refuse lodge membership. And then this is what the publicist says. All rumors are true. Frankenstein baby born 24 weeks premature. Paternity test proves Abbott's Frank's baby daddy. And then the last is Abbot and Costello Love Monster movie released. And for people who haven't, doesn't remember Abbot and Costello, in most of their movies, they wore a bowler hat. So that's why I put all the words around a bowler hat.
Clever.
And if you're ever interested in trying to get word art published, a good magazine is called Street Cake. You might try.
All right, put
that in the chat.
Yeah, type that in the chat.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, nicely done. I loved Abbott and Costello, so all those hit home, Robert, because I loved when I was a kid. I would watch Abbott and Costello all the time. And you're so right with the bowler hat. That was the famous Who's on First scene. They were both, I think they were, I saw one that were done in bowler hats. So, yeah, very nice. All right, Alice, are you there? How are we doing, Alice? Unmute yourself, Alice. And
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, Alice. Go
Okay. Here goes. Can you still hear me?
Yes, Alice, we can still hear you.
Okay. All the world's a stage, and we are merely players. Who we are is how we are loved. These past 7 months I have spent on my stage trying to stay alive. For I am of the COVID age, when expected not to thrive. Yes, I was told through more than one mask, my curtain should surely soon drop. There were messaged grim possibilities, but my play had a different plot. For I just celebrated 80 years, finding new love and shedding fears. Being told on my birthday to come out to the yard, obeying, I walked through the gate, down the grass to the sidewalk, then surprised by the grand parade, which came up Grant, tooting horns. I laughed while tears dripped down. The honking balloons, the bodies hanging out. This was the best show in town. Later in the afternoon, strangers were still playing along. They joined in the music of merriment, which capped the happy birthday song. Yes, many of you acted well your parts, rocking this girl's elderly heart. So now I know I spent worried months when I should have known that John, Paulette, Heather, and Lee just picked up their phones to call a group of amazing friends to help me celebrate. Thank you to all who made my day and changed my imagined fate. Go away, COVID, hit the road. I have lots more to do. And tonight I want you all to know my happiness is because of you.
Much love, Alice.
Woo! Nice job, Alice. Yes, there's my heart emoji. Yes.
Alice, happy birthday. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there, but
Oh,
I
you
wanted to
should
wish you
be
a happy
sorry.
birthday.
We not only had a parade, we had poems on the patio.
Oh, I saw some of the pictures. It looked like a great time.
It was a good time. Yep. She
It
wrote
was a
bang up
riot
poem,
of a time.
too. It
yeah.
was. It was fantastic.
And you know what? I'm going to be 81, so we'll do it again, okay?
Of course.
Perfect.
All right.
Hey, Alice, thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
All right, Paulette, you're up. Paulette.
Can
There
you hear
you
me?
go. Yep, you're up.
Okay, I'm using my phone, so bear with me. My computer's not working.
No worries.
The first one I'll be reading is called Timeout. And then the second one will be a Halloween type poem. Okay, timeout. As we scamper to and fro, trying to keep pace with a busy world, many things go unattended, things that really matter most. No time to stop and pray a bit, or to pause and reflect and just sit. No time for family and friends to gather and just to savor being together. Before too long, though, time will pass and we'll be astounded by our loss. Because try as we might, we can never recover. The past is past, gone forever. And clearly that was written before COVID, because we have a lot of time on our hands right now. The second one, pumpkins connect the holidays. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, pumpkins connect the holidays. Mounds and mounds of orange rounds peep out from the pumpkin patch. Times are ticking, pumpkins ripe for picking, jack-o'-lantern bound. Pumpkin knows its season, and for this very reason, you'll never see this orange mound around before the end of September. Once pumpkin arrives, though, it lingers a while, through October and November, departing reluctantly at the end of December.
Thank you, Paulette. I love the pumpkin one.
Oh,
I got a pumpkin picture that I found that we're going to use for a writing prompt. So that's I like that. It ties right into my October theme. So good job on that. How about Kimberly Ray? Kimberly Ray.
All right. Okay, I've got two. They're long, so I've been trying to work on longer poems. First one is Tears of a Poet, and it's based on trying to compare different poetry readers and who I am inspired by. All right. When I think of Carlos, who's Carlos Andres Gomez, a beautiful soul of a man, emotional, heartfelt poetry bleeds through. Tears creep on the brink of every reading. His hand held over his heart to keep it in, he makes a mark wherever he goes. The rhythm of his words flow, and it leaves you speechless. All you can mouth is, wow. Pondering over poems to capture what I believe in, a work of art always in progress. Instead of writing, I digress. I want the poems to come to me. It should be so easy. Poems used to flow without trying. Have I run out of reasons for writing? Dreams are boats, one poet says. It leaves me wondering, have her dreams already sailed on? Are they docked and staying afloat? Has she a ticket to the party boat of dreams? Or have her dreams met the fate of a Titanic? Whichever type it is, big or small, and the condition it may be, it got me thinking. And that's what's the beautiful part of poetry. It leaves you wondering, wanting to dig deep. If there's no wonder, no mystery, why bother in the terms of poetry? All right, that's a little shaky. Thanks. The next one is called The Season of Changes. Okay. Every autumn fills with browns and reds, yellows and oranges, sweeping leaves and a steady wind blowing through trees. Halloween decorations, candy corn, and costume trials as little ones prepare for the changes in the air. Days lead up to celebrating another trip around the sun, and yet this season is another reminder of all those years ago when we lost you. Years collect dust rings in the corners of my mind, so many things that could have been shared. The warmth of your embrace, the gentleness of your hands, all we lost when cancer captured you. No longer a smile beaming, distant eyes, a dream that no longer bled truth. Doctors predicted 6 months, then 3. It turned to mere weeks. Sam was no more than a week old when she greeted you. Pictures snapped but lost still haunt. But we didn't need them to prove an ending needing a beginning. It was part of our story to carry on. All right, thanks. So that's based on my grandmother passed away 22 years ago next week.
Wow.
And my niece just turned 22 this week. So I wanted to commemorate that.
Oh, you did an awesome job. Great imagery. Oh, nicely done. Thank you, Kimberly, very much.
Thanks.
Lesley, let's go to you. Lesley Tyson.
Get myself off mute here. So, you know, there's been a couple of challenges this summer. And so I participated in those and I actually wrote and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do to keep it going? And so Megan and I have been like doing a prompt challenge to each other. And this poem comes from one of my prompts to the both of us to write about a time of day. And I overdo everything. So this is called Liturgy of a Day. You may, if you are Episcopalian or Catholic, recognize kind of the pattern. Liturgy of a Day, night without sky shape, a sigh slides through trees, hunting what will not be seen. Darkness fades, waiting for light, biding its sweet time, what stirs before dawn. Gentleness to light, movements begin out of sight, what greets the new day. Full light, everything in action with day's promise, what takes place in hope. Day at its full shine, a pause before beginning what will be needed. Heat peaking to slide, toward completion, to pause, what to be finished. Day lays down to review its accomplishments, what prepares to close. Night tucks itself in, rustles settle to silence. What stars shine this night? And then Megan came up with this really great one. We've talked about it before. There's a Wiki Art site that has famous artwork. And if you click on a picture in that, you will, you know, read some stuff about the artist and they'll show you related paintings. And so the rabbit hole, as we're talking here, is go down the rabbit hole with one of these. Start off with a picture, click on one of the references, and keep going down until they start repeating themselves and see what comes of that. So this is one of mine that I came down and it's colorful. The Great Fracture of Morning. Of course I press the handle down. Why else would it be there except to mark a door, which falls away, opening to a green set among sculptural Chinese mountains, Shangri-La of a clearing, glowing in this fracture of light, making lie of tunnel or bottom. A tiny, limitless vista that offers unraveling paths for exploration. Time becomes static. The idea of beyond appears as another impossibility. I wander in place, separating greens like stalks of grass or the silks of an immense tapestry that replaces reality with pictures of itself, until it begins to rain, washing away theories of shelter.
Yeah, nice.
And this is called Poetic Shelter. And that was one of the rabbit holes. It was actually a sculpture called Poetic Shelter by Lygia Clark. And then you walked all the way through. So, Poetic Shelter. Pieces of a boxes cut to improbable shapes, shelter, just name. Box contains itself, held together by green light, not under unfriendly skies. Inside turns outside, artificial definitions of shelter or storm. It all collapses, monument for situations varying by hour. That's it, thanks.
Thank you, Lesley. Much appreciated. I love the second one. I love all the greens. Thank you for that. All right, let's go. Mike Crowley. Mike Crowley, take it away. The man with the best beard.
Okay. As a number of you know, I've been working on off and on occasionally a novel called The Interdimensional Taxi Driver. And I've figured out that one of the central incidents in it is going to be a scavenger hunt. And that's a little background. I mentioned briefly a character named Pencil. My wife doesn't like it. I'll probably change it. But for now, that's what it is. This is called, and it's sort of appropriate to Columbus Day, it's called Ugg. The next item on our list was Ugg's shoe. It was located in a dimension called, oddly enough, the Land of Ugg. The Land of Ugg was another dimension that was similar to Pencil's, with, as usual, a few differences. The most pertinent difference, as far as we were concerned, was that the Uggians did not celebrate Columbus Day. Instead, they celebrated Ugg Day. Unlike some societies, the Uggians did not consider ethics to be a detriment to responsible citizenship, and they were able to get climate change under control. But before they did, however, climate change melted large portions of the Alaskan Northwest. An Eskimo named Nanook the 49th, Nanook was a common name in his tribe, and there are 48 other Nanooks, found a record recounting the exploits of the first Paleo-Indian to come across from Asia to North America. This first human was, you guessed it, Ugg. The record in question was written by a Clovisian named Geranatanto in a language that was in no way similar to Esperanto. The Paleo-Indians, also called Clovis man, were not especially intrepid. Most children only learn the myth of Ugg. Myth in Ugland, as in most civilized countries, is also known as history, especially as it is taught to children. The theory is it's best not to confuse children with irrelevancies like truth. The truth of Ugg was quite different than the history records it. Ugg was not a brave soul who fearlessly crossed the Bering Strait in search of new horizons. Ugg apparently went to North America searching for his pet mammoth, Babardumbo. Geranatanto records that he believes that Babardumbo was running away from Ugg due to his bad breath. Toothbrushes had not been invented yet. Geranatanto also relates that the only reason he dared to record this opinion was that Ugg could not read. If Ugg knew what he had written, he would have hit him, in the author's opinion, with his number 9 club. It seems that Ugg had a whole set of clubs which were carried by one of his servants named Cadimus. The only way he could ride Babardumbo was if, sometimes working for a full day, the entourage would carve a groove into a large rock using their stone tools. Then they would place a small tree across the rock. Ugg would stand on one end of the tree, while 3 other Clovisians stood on top one another until the top one leaped onto the other end of the tree. Ugg was then propelled into the air, where he grabbed a hold of Babardumbo's long hair and swung on top of him. Of course, sometimes he missed. The others used to call him Old Muddy behind his back. Ugg's job was carrying his wife by the hair. It is widely believed by historians that he invented the ponytail for this purpose. In order to get others to follow him, he would say that he had just seen a whole herd of mammoths going that way. When the others invariably asked, "Are we there yet?" he would say, "We're almost there. It's just a little further." This would go on for months at a time as they crossed the Bering Strait, which was not underwater at that time. The theory that Ugg invented the channel has been widely discredited. The other Clovisians followed day after day. Paleo-Indians were not, on the whole, very bright. And I just a little bit more on that. I said, what is the Festival of Ugg? How is it celebrated? And just a little bit here. As they danced around the fire, the men would carry the women. Due to the shortage of women, they wore pigtails so each one could be carried by 2 men. That's it.
Mike, all I'm doing when I listen to this is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm like, this goes right in with that thought. I'm like, it's definitely out there. I love it. I actually love it because it is just so out there. I love it. So keep going on it. I think we all enjoy it. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Brian Donald James, you are up.
Okay, thank you. First, I wanted to say, although I was raised not to comment on a woman's age, I certainly thought that Alice was at least 20 years younger than what was revealed. You know, I couldn't believe that. She still is 80 years young, but I thought she was at least 20 years prior to that. So again, happy birthday, Alice. I have 3 poems tonight. The first one is entitled Asian Girl in Carolina, based off a young lady I saw on the highways. Cherry blossoms on national malls do not equate for thousands of years of existence. Yes, you are so much more. Your lovely eyes of smiles delicately set upon a porcelain face, a unique rhythm in your silence, a graceful current of obedience, speaking in movements, never seen crying. Yes, this is what is expected. But she, clad in a straw cowgirl hat with a faux jade gem in the center, is still so lovely and proud and free. Looks at me at the light as it changes and drives off toward Raleigh, listening to country music. Thank you. The next piece is entitled The Cat. This is a response to my poem, Straight Talk About a Dog. The cat. You are regal with your plush velour robe and with pyramids for ears and your vanity. You might just be Goddess Bastet in rebirth. So seize your yarn globe, shake your world to its knees, make them quiver in cities, you powerful creature. And after the conquest, nap. Curl into me, speaking in humble growls and weary roars, saying, love me. Haunt resting quarters, moving in silence, glaring with neon eyes, thinking, arise, servant, love me. And the last piece is cinema. Sweetly I envision you in sweeping thoughts so tenderly. And of this, I bind together a secret cinema of your face, of your hair, of your smile. But fleeting memories of black and white flicker and fade away as I sit alone. Yes, in my mind, I share no audience, but when the curtain falls, you are gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. For those of you, we're going to have Brian read the dog poem one of these days, because the dog poem was wonderful. I definitely connected with Brian on the dog poem, and I can tell that he loves his cat far more than the dog. So, yes. All right, we go to Robbie Rise.
Thank y'all. Here's old Rise here. We're almost to Virginia in the epic with the AT. So here goes. Wrapped by 4 walls and a door. You guys hear me? I'm sorry. Wrapped by 4 walls and a door. Roan High Knob was a home, not 3 walls and poor. Che, Elliot, Hercules, and I Our bones rested on the boards, while Disciple pitched an outside tent. We settled into our sleeping bags. Energy on loan must give back what was lent. Sauntering downward with the daylight, I meandered through meadows of grass. These unbridled, treeless, incredible balds are pure Appalachian plain, rough and rude, slit open by settlers, deforested, prairie in the nude. Now, I am not saying that senseless slaughter of woodland is worthy or good, but when I hiked Max Patch or the Holy Humps, something primal was well understood. Sweethearts of the South, daughters of Dixie, the trail slithers along their expanse like it was put there by a pixie. So, back in the bramble, I was filtering water from a spring when the group appeared out of nowhere. Happy birthday to me they did sing. Che, Elliott, Lemon, Goosebumps in Neon Mountain. It was April 9th, 2015. I had just turned 27 years old. They gave me such a pleasing gift that this part of the story had to be told. The intangible, immaterial has a grace more extraordinary than gold. No longer sabotaged by the scattered light, I slid off the spinning circus of North Carolina, Tennessee, never knowing which state I was really in. The chariot of confusion stopped in the Cherokee National Forest, divesting from all this delusion. Permanently tied to Tennessee, I ended the outdoor illusion, but I was eventually seized by a storm that pelted and poured, shocked by lightning strikes, attacking the earth, here, there, everywhere. My hair stood hostage, vexed by the volts, pow, pow, animated and electrified, my entire being. From the bitter black cloud I was anxiously fleeing. Every bolt bothers your mortal flesh, as the Jesus statue in the cemetery ominously declared that here is where death does bury. So, frightened on to the bottom of Mountaineer Falls, I skipped over her sunset stones, as they were hinting it was well past hiker's midnight, about 8 o'clock. After a maddening 25 miles, I saw a Mountaineer shelter. It was our sight. Measure that out, practically a hiking marathon, hike-a-thon, however you want to describe the distance. 25 miles of trail, my birthday broke me with resistance. Herc was already in the hut, so I prepared some pasta, filtering from the falls. Scooping water, I gawked at the gush that smashed below, into the deep and dark abyss. Don't meddle with the mountaineer, it's a target you don't want to miss. Stuck in the stench of my renegades, I had no campsite shoes, left my sandals in Georgia, if you recall old news. Oh well, it's boots to bag. Always slip off your socks to air out those two old hags. Sun up, when I noticed, scratched on the wall, the words, "There are no rules." That's the one a bear is going to maul. Only the inconsiderate write on shelters, what gall. Grabbing my gear, it was another day, another walk in the woods, as I slaved on to Moreland Gap Shelter, a cement block, full of friends, yet I wished to relax on my own rock. So I pegged down my tent, a one-man Eureka Spitfire, light yet confined was my giant. Almost to the Old Dominion, we were feeling rather self-reliant. Last one here. Lured to Watauga Lake, an artificial mass of motorboats that leaves hikers in their wake, I was beginning to feel burned, beaten down by the brush, spit on and spurned. Nowhere to compose myself, nowhere to camp, until I snuck up to a dry ridge site, reclusive ramp. Baited into the big laurel branch wilderness, I turned off that tangled lamp. A fellow hiker found me, nesting on this unseen, undercover hilltop. We spied on the lake lights as the shotgun shell went pop. Well, not quite. I picked one up near the tent, right next to my sight. Always makes me a bit nervous, someone shooting out here. Fear and paranoia at your service. Moving out with the morning, I salvaged my spirit, didn't need any kind of warning. Our new setting is Iron Mountain Shelter, where I cowboy camped, which means to sleep directly under the stars. Just my bag, pad, and tarp, and a perfect view of Mars. No sediment of society, no creaking of our cars. Restored to reason, I busted down all of the bars. That's it, guys.
Fantastic, Robbie. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love that we are on the journey with you. I just do. I just think it's awesome. You put us right there with you. And
I feel like I've got blisters.
I know. I love it. Make sure you write down what part in your journey you are. All right. And does anybody else believe Robbie's like 22 years old? I know he just gave his age in there, but every time I look at him, he's just so young and like.
Yeah. Well, I was 27. I'm actually 32 now.
I know, but you are so young looking. You are awesome. We live vicariously through you every time you tell us about your height.
Doing the push-ups for us.
All right, guys. It has been a great night. I needed this. It was. I just love to hear about October as well because it just feels like just because we're in school virtually, I just sort of lose the feeling of time. And it was really good to hear, Robbie getting us outdoors and some of the October poems. So I loved it. Thank you very much for a great night. And once again, we are Spilled Ink, and I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to do it again. You guys take care. All right, and we got to do this again real soon. Thank you all for
Poets
everything.
Anonymous is tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, Poets Anonymous also.
Right by the Rails is in the morning.
Right by the Rails. I got those two events. Right by the Rails.
I'm going to type in the address you can send to me if you want the Zoom link.
All right. She'll put that in chat as well before she leaves. All right, guys. Thank you very much for a great night, and we will see you again real soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, guys.